If you're into college football history, Jordan-Hare Stadium is always a good destination, but especially on this day. Oklahoma, Auburn meeting for the first time as SEC teams. However, if you're into the here and now, 2024, important matchup, good matchup, more than that, aesthetically pleasing matchup, this was not your game. Shouldn't have been your game. You shouldn't even have considered Oklahoma and Auburn. Did you see the Sooners try to mount any offense against Tennessee last week? They were really never in that game, even though their defense played their hearts out. The Oklahoma offense has been horrific. So much so that Brent Venables, despite injuries all over the place, they were missing 5 of their top wide receivers coming into this game, including Deion Burks, who was kind of a last man standing as a weapon for Oklahoma going into this game. 2 offensive line starters have missed much of this season, but Brent Venables finally had to pull the plug on Jackson Arnold. Not all his fault, although he made some terrible decisions, especially last week against Tennessee. On the Auburn side, they've been struggling with this for a year and a half. The quarterback situation still not resolved. Peyton Thorne's been the guy most of the time, but he has not been the answer. He's been a turnover machine. Really, the entire offense has been turnover plagued. They have already lost 2 football games that they weren't supposed to lose. So Oklahoma, Auburn, something had to give. 6-3, 9-6, what would the final score be? Well, the team that actually found a passing game, 338 yards, turned out to be the team that blew the game and lost it. Welcome in the voice of college football, breaking down Auburn and Oklahoma. And even though it was a struggle to watch, the last 5 to 10 minutes paid off because it became rather exciting at the end. For Oklahoma, they started freshman quarterback Michael Hawkins, and he did little. Well, he had a big touchdown run on the first drive of 48 yards. Then after that, Oklahoma leading 7-0. The next 5 drives for Oklahoma, they ran 23 plays. They gained 34 yards. They punted 5 consecutive times. Then they got stopped on downs. They had a missed field goal, so they were basically non-existent on offense for most of the game. Auburn came back from that 7-0 hole, scored a couple touchdowns. As I mentioned, Peyton Thorne's first 25-26 pass attempts, no turnovers, played really well, moving the ball all over the place, and had a 21-10 lead, and then things suddenly changed. All right, what changed was they got a run from Jarquez Hunter, who they should have relied more on during this game. Ran for almost 100 yards. Really good running back. One of the best in the SEC. He ripped off a 22-yarder. They're up by 11 points against a team that can't move the ball. And then Peyton Thorne pulled back 2 RPO options and threw in completions. They went for a long field goal. They missed it from 51 yards. They're still up 21-10. Could have extended to 2 full scores, but up 21-10. And then Michael Hawkins did what he had to do. He just cut loose on a bomb. And J.J. Hester pulled it in for a huge 60-yard play to get Oklahoma back in the game. 21-16. They score on the 60-yard play. So J.J. Hester, I had to look him up. J.V. and Hester, because we're 6-7 deep on the Oklahoma wide receiver list. This guy hasn't been a contributor for anybody, and that was Missouri back in 2021, 3 years ago. Has not caught a pass, 1 pass in 2022. He caught 1 pass, but he pulls in this 60-yarder to jumpstart the Oklahoma offense. They don't get the 2-point conversion. It's 21-16. All right. Key series here. Next time Auburn's got the football, there's about 4 minutes left. They're nursing a 21-16 lead, and Peyton Thorne gets duped by one of the best in the business. Brent Venables is the head coach, but I'm sure he has a lot to do with the defensive game plan, and it looked like an all-out blitz on 3rd down, but they pulled everyone back, went back into coverage, and Kip Lewis was playing the passing lane on the slant that Peyton Thorne tried to throw and picked it off and ran it all the way for the touchdown, and Oklahoma took the lead at 24-21. And Oklahoma leads the nation, and they need to lead the nation with this offense in points off turnovers, now with 49. And they got the 2-point conversion on the Michael Hawkins run to the end zone where he just sacrificed his body, leaped into the end zone from about the 4-yard line, and 24-21. You had Auburn still had 54 seconds left at their own 25. They got a couple completions. Peyton Thorne, once again, threw some nice balls. He had a great game aside from the big mistakes. But you got to take care of the football. And boy, Oklahoma brought the pressure. The last few drives of this game, R. Mason Cobb had a couple huge sacks, a sack on 3rd and 4, and then a sack on 4th down that pretty much sealed the deal. He beat the left tackle, lined up on the other side to beat the right tackle, and the pressure on Peyton Thorne was massive in the last couple of drives. He still completed some balls out to midfield to give them a desperation try, but he just didn't have the arm to get it to the end zone. Keandre Lambert-Smith catches the Hail Mary, but it's out to about the 12-yard line. Oklahoma pulls out this win, and they were outgained 482 to 291. Now, I don't know what those statistics were mid-fourth quarter, but they were probably even much worse than that. 482 for Auburn, 291. But again, Auburn loses the turnover battle. They've got the worst turnover ratio. They have to have the worst metric in that category in all of college football. Okay, neither one of these teams are going anywhere. I got to tell you that. Oklahoma's defense, though, is really good. They've got a bye week, and they've got Red River coming up against Texas, so don't count that one off. We saw, again today in the SEC, Kentucky going to Ole Miss. Nobody is immune. Kentucky almost beat Georgia, of course. For Auburn, poor Auburn, they go to Georgia. They're going to hope for some kind of hangover after the Alabama game. It's just kind of amazing to see this Oklahoma transformation from Lincoln Riley, high-powered offense in the Big 12 with no defense, to defense wins ball games and the offense is just duct taped together. But Michael Hawkins, hey, maybe it's his coming out party. Like I said on our Oklahoma show, you can catch each and every Friday on our Sooners channel. This Michael Hawkins experiment might be just that, a one-game experiment, or it may be a 3-year tenure. It may be the outset of the Michael Hawkins era at Oklahoma. Sooners win it. They ice it with a field goal, 27 to 21, and again, the Hail Mary comes up short for the Auburn Tigers. And Hugh Freeze, a lot of pressure on him. Peyton Thorne, unfortunately, because we know college football, the rabid emotions of these fan bases, not a very well-liked person in the state of Alabama. Your thoughts about Oklahoma and Auburn? A couple teams that did not address their quarterback situations in the offseason, but Oklahoma actually did. They were proactive and said goodbye to Dylan Gabriel, but it's not worked out. We'll see if Michael Hawkins can progress, much like a team up north can progress with a passing challenged quarterback for the rest of the season. Your thoughts down below. Please like and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football.